Anybody that's in crypto knows that Warren Buffett hates crypto, but that doesn't mean we need to throw out the baby with the bathwater. What can we learn about his wisdom and apply it to our investments in blockchain technology? Hello, my name is Damian. Welcome to my channel, Growing Together. I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice, but in this video, I want to tell you about the mistakes I made when I first started investing in crypto. I want to talk about my investment strategy and how I invest and where I got my investing advice in this video. The main reason I jumped into this space is because cash is not a good investment. I had cash sitting there and it wasn't doing anything. It was just losing its value. Here's what Warren Buffett says about cash.
We would never have cash around just to have cash. I mean, we would never think that we should have a cash position of X%. And frankly, I think these asset allocation things that tacticians in Wall Street put out, about 60% stocks and 30%, we think that's total nonsense. We want to have all our money working in decent businesses, but sometimes we can't find them, or sometimes cash comes in unexpectedly, or sometimes we sell something. We want money employed, but we'll never employ it, just employ it. And you will find us quite unhappy over time if cash just keeps building up. And I think one way or another we'll find ways to use it.
Second tip, when I first jumped into crypto, the only thing I was doing was day trading. Everybody was telling me how Phantom was going to go up. Everybody was showing me the charts, how Thorchain was about to do the breakout triangles and and the death crosses and the chart conversions, and I was buying it up. I got wrecked. I wish I would have heard this before I started day trading.
Day trading, I would say, very often came very close to gambling as defined. But people like to gamble. It's the human propensity to gamble is huge. Now, when it was legalized only pretty much in Nevada, you had to go to some distance or break some laws to do any serious gambling. But as the states learned to, what a great source of revenue it was, they gradually made it easier and easier and easier for people to gamble. And believe me, the easier it's made, the more people will gamble. My children are here, and 40 years ago, I bought a slot machine and I put it up on our third floor, and I could give my kids any allowance they wanted as long as it was in dimes. I had it all back by nightfall. I thought it would be a good lesson for them.
So after that happened, I started thinking, well, I want to get in on projects when they're starting, not when they're top 10. That's where the true opportunity is. So when I first jumped into that pre-sale world, I got scammed, but I learned in the process. I learned how to recognize the frauds. I learned how to dissect a project. So I also lost money there, but I also learned how to recognize legitimate projects, which is what I'm doing today. Number 3, invest in what you know. I don't think games are evil in the same way that I don't think alcohol is evil. If you have one drink a day, it's good. Games, if you play them with balance in your life, they're a good thing. They're full of creativity, they're full of art, they're full of writing, they're full of storylines. They're not bad in itself, but for me, they're a problem. So I don't play them. But my history allows me to recognize the good games. It's a field that I know. It's something I'm familiar with because I've played them so much. So this is a place where I feel comfortable navigating in to separate the good projects from the bad projects. So that's what I try to bring to you in my channel. This is what Warren Buffett says about that.
He said the most important thing in hitting is waiting for the right pitch. And I don't have to swing. And nobody's going to call me out on called strikes. I only get a strike called if I swing at a pitch and miss. So I can wait there and look at thousands of companies day after day. And only when I see something I understand and when I like the price at which it's selling, then if I swing, if I hit it, fine. If I miss, it's a strike. But it's an enormously advantageous game. And it's a terrible mistake to think you have to have an opinion on everything. You only have to have an opinion on a few things. In fact, I've told students if when they got out of school, they got a punch card with 20 punches on it, and that's all the investment decisions they got to make in their entire life, they would get very rich because they would think very hard about each one. And you don't need 20 right decisions to get very rich. 4 or 5 will probably do it.
When I think back in my life, there were a few times when I knew that things were going to be great for that company. I never acted on it because I wasn't an investor. Today, when I do find that project, I bet big. Right now, this is one I really believe in, but if you're in the United States or Canada, your governments don't allow you to participate because of security laws in your country. However, if you're not there, CADX is definitely something I feel good about. Doesn't mean I'm right. No one knows the future. Here's some wisdom regarding that.
You know, the king used to hire the magician or the forecaster, and he'd look in sheep guts or something for an answer as to how to handle the next war. And so there's always been a market for people who reported to know the future based on their expertise. And there's a lot of that still going on. It's just as crazy as when the king was hiring the forecaster who looked at the sheep guts. You know, people have an economic incentive to sell some nostrum. It can be sold over and over and over again.
You don't have to have a super IQ to be a good investor. Stay in your field of expertise. You don't have to understand all businesses, and blockchain technology applies to them all. So look for projects that are applying blockchain technology in a field that you know, especially the startups. There's a lot of opportunity right now.
You don't need tons of IQ in this business. I mean, you have to have enough IQ to get from here to downtown Omaha. You do not have to be able to play three-dimensional chess. You need a stable personality. You need a temperament that neither derives great pleasure from being with the crowd or against the crowd, because this is not a business where you take polls. It's a business where you think. And Ben Graham would say that you're not right or wrong because 1,000 people agree with you, and you're not right or wrong because 1,000 people disagree with you. You're right because your facts and your reasoning are right.
Finally, invest in yourself to become a better communicator. Here's Warren Buffett talking about that.
By far the best investment you can make is in yourself. For example, communication skills. I tell the students, they're going to graduate schools and business, and they're learning all these complicated formulas and all that. If they just learn to communicate better, both in writing and in person, they increase their value at least 50%. If you can't communicate, somebody says, you know, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens, you know, basically. And you have to be able to get forth your ideas. And that's relatively easy. I did it myself with the Dale Carnegie course. Some people wish I'd taken a shorter course now in terms of my talking later on. But it's just hugely important. And if you invest in yourself, nobody can take it away from you. If I gave you a car, and it'd be the only car you get the rest of your life, you take care of it like you can't believe it. Any scratch, you'd fix that moment. You read the owner's manual, you keep a garage, and do all these things. And you get exactly one mind and one body in this world. And you can't start taking care of it when you're 50. By that time, you'll have rusted out if you haven't done anything. So you should really make sure that you just remember that you just got one mind and body to get through life with and to do the most with it.
This is my philosophy in investing. Make sure you give this video a like. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you next time.